From AccuWeather.com, this is AccuWeather Daily, a brief host-read article. It's weather news in a nutshell. Well, the winter has officially come to an end, with astronomical spring beginning on Friday. Some parts of the country got a blockbuster snow season, while other areas ended up in a major snow drought. So, how did winter stack up where you live? Well, the heaviest snow this season in the east fell in the favored lake effect areas of the Upper Peninsula of Michigan and western New York, as is typical. But this season delivered near record snowfall to these areas, with some places recording more than 100 inches above their historical average. In Michigan, two stations where snow is officially measured have exceeded 300 inches, which is a rare feat. As of Thursday, the town of Herman had measured 350.5 inches, which equates to about a little over 29 feet of snow, roughly 120 inches above normal. Nearby Larium recorded 331.3 inches, or about 27.5 feet of snow. Snowfall can only officially be measured by trained weather observers. One of the NOAA cooperative observers says that he has never seen anything like this in Michigan. Herman's 347.5 inches has been exceeded only once in the annals of weather records, and that was back in the 1996-97 season when 384 inches fell. The town of Herman pulled ahead of Larium, where the NOAA station is located, after a mid-March blizzard dropped nearly 4 feet of snow there last week. Local ski resorts have also picked up a lot of snow this season, with Mount Bohemia measuring 332 inches and Mount Ripley boasting 313 inches this season. Other parts of the eastern U.S., including the I-95 corridor from, say, Wilmington, Delaware to Boston and New York City, ended up with lower numbers than Michigan, but even higher percentages compared to their averages. The Jay Peak Ski Resort in Vermont picked up 347 inches, but that's a little bit less than they got last year when they got 475 inches. Most of the Carolinas, where snow is rare, also ranked as much as 3 to 4 times their average, thanks to a rare major winter storm in late January. The West, on the other hand, is in a snow drought, with most areas getting less than 50% of their historical average snowfall. The snow cover in the western U.S. has been the lowest percentage in the modern record for most of the season. Snow water equivalent, or the amount of liquid in the snowpack, is under 50% for about half the area measured. Salt Lake City typically measures 47 inches of snow throughout the winter, but this season only recorded 3. Meanwhile, in Flagstaff, Arizona, this year's seasonal snowfall was only 26.6 inches, which is 53 inches below its historical average of 79.6 inches. How about those ski resorts? It's extremely unusual to see ski resorts in the Northeast beat those in the mountains out west. But what happened this season? Kirkwood Ski Area in California has received 264 inches, with 260 inches at Alta, Utah. Both are considerably less than Jay Peak in Vermont, which again got 347 inches. Mount Shasta Ski Park in California has closed for the season, and it was a disappointing one for the folks there after being open only 55 days, forcing them to refund unused portions of their minimum 60-day pass holders. Webcams there show bare ground. Dodge Ridge, another ski area in California, also shut down for the season this week. Well, butterflies are a nice sign that spring is here, and a key monarch butterfly population is showing some signs of improvement this year, but scientists are warning that the species remains in long-term decline, especially in the western United States. New data released by World Wildlife Fund Mexico and conservation partners show the eastern monarch population, which overwinters in central Mexico, increased by 64% compared to last winter. Monarchs occupied about 7.25 acres of forest during the 2025-2026 season. That's up from about 4.5 acres the year before. The annual survey measures how much forest area the butterflies cover during hibernation, offering a reliable indicator of population trends. While the jump is encouraging, well, experts say it does not signal a full recovery. Scott Black, who is director of the Xerces Society for Invertebrate Conservation, said that while an increase is great news, the numbers in Mexico are still well below historic norms. While the western monarch population that overwinters in California is seeing its third worst year on record, we urgently need better protections for this beloved butterfly. The contrast between those two populations is pretty stark. In coastal California, where western monarchs spend the winter, numbers remain dangerously low. The Xerces Society's annual western monarch count recorded just 12,260 butterflies in late November, marking the third lowest total ever observed and a dramatic drop from the millions seen back in the 80s, which scientists consider a stable baseline. Xerces Society experts say year-to-year swings can draw attention, but the bigger concern is a sustained long-term decline driven by habitat loss, pesticide use, and climate change. Monarchs are known for one of the most remarkable migrations in the natural world. The eastern population travels between Canada and Mexico over multiple generations, while the western population moves between the interior western U.S. and coastal California. New technology is now helping scientists better understand that journey. Last fall, researchers deployed ultralight Blue Plus transmitters on about 470 monarchs across the eastern and central U.S. to track their migration. One tagged butterfly has already provided a glimpse into the species' resilience. After overwintering in Mexico, she crossed the Rio Grande into Texas on March 14th of this year and flew roughly 320 miles in just one day, reaching the eastern edge of the Houston metro area by the following evening. Even with these advances, experts are warning that monarchs remain highly vulnerable. Dr. Ray Morantz, a pollinator conservation specialist with the Xerces Society, said that with monarch butterfly populations this low, they are at a much greater risk of extinction if they encounter catastrophic weather events like extreme drought in the Midwest or blizzards at the Mexican overwintering colonies. Scientists say recovery will depend on widespread conservation efforts across North America, including planting native milkweed and nectar plants, reducing pesticide use, and protecting critical overwintering habitats in both Mexico and California. Without those efforts, the recent gains in Mexico may prove to be temporary for one of the continent's most recognizable species. That's all for now. You can find more regional forecasts and science-based articles at AccuWeather.com. And for your local forecast at your fingertips, download the AccuWeather app. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, be weather aware, and I'll be back on Monday morning with more from AccuWeather.